What if the greatest villain in Marvel was never evil at all? What if Thanos did not want destruction but balance? What if he was not driven by hatred but by love and fear? Today, we are not telling the story of a monster. We are telling the story of a man who tried to save the universe and lost his soul doing it. This is the true story of Thanos, as told by Marvel Comics. The birth of a thinker Thanos, of Titan Thanos, was born on Titan, a moon of Saturn, a world of advanced science, peace, and intelligence. But from birth, Thanos was different. He carried the deviant gene, making him appear frightening compared to his people. Rejected, isolated, observing while others celebrated. Titan's prosperity, Thanos saw something terrifying. Unlimited growth, limited resources. Titan was thriving, but Thanos understood mathematics, population theory, and entropy. He calculated the future, and the future said, collapse, famine, war, extinction. Thanos did what philosophers and leaders rarely do. He spoke an uncomfortable truth. The plan no one wanted to hear. Thanos proposed a solution, cold, logical, brutal. Reduce the population not by war, not by cruelty, but by random selection. Not hatred, not conquest. Mercy through mathematics. He believed random death was fair. No discrimination, no class, no power. But Titan's leaders were horrified. They laughed, they dismissed him, they called him a madman. And Thanos watched, helpless, as Titan ignored the warning. The trauma that created a Titan collapsed exactly as Thanos predicted. Civilization fell. Resources vanished. People starved. Thanos survived not because he was lucky, but because he prepared, and that survival broke him. From that moment, Thanos formed a belief that would define his life. Mercy without action is cruelty. He believed compassion required sacrifice, even if the sacrifice was himself. This is where Thanos stops being a citizen and becomes a mission. Love, death, and obsession. Comics lore. In Marvel Comics, Thanos' philosophy evolves further. He falls in love with Mistress Death, not metaphorically, but literally. Death represents the natural order, decay, rebirth, balance. Thanos believes that life multiplies without wisdom, and death restores harmony. To impress Death, Thanos commits genocide, not out of joy, but devotion. This is critical. Thanos does not enjoy killing. He believes killing is necessary pain, like a surgeon cutting flesh to save a body. The Infinity Gauntlet, power with a purpose. When Thanos seeks the Infinity Stones, it is not greed, it is efficiency. No wars, no suffering. One snap, instant, random, balanced. In his mind, this is the most humane solution possible. This is why Thanos does not torture, why he does not gloat, why he cries after sacrificing Gamora. Because in his mind, I am the only one strong enough to do what must be done. Thanos and Gamora, the ultimate contradiction. Gamora is the greatest proof that Thanos is not purely evil. He adopts her, educates her, protects her, and yet he kills half her people. Why? Because Thanos cannot separate love from logic. This is his tragedy. He believes emotions are dangerous unless controlled by reason, but he himself is ruled by an unhealed wound. Gamora is the cost of his belief system. And when he sacrifices her, Thanos finally breaks. Not because he lost, but because he proved himself right at the cost of everything he loved. The philosophy behind Thanos, why he feels right. This is why audiences resonate with Thanos. He represents overpopulation, anxiety, climate collapse, fear, resource, scarcity, moral utilitarianism, the greater good dilemma. Thanos asks a terrifying question. If doing nothing leads to extinction, is violent action justified? This is the same question governments, philosophers, and scientists struggle with today. Why Thanos is still wrong, and yet Thanos fails, because he believes control creates balance. But true balance requires consciousness, not calculation. He never asks why life multiplies without wisdom, why systems reward greed, why compassion and education are ignored. He treats symptoms, not the disease. Thanos tries to save the universe from the outside, when the real collapse begins inside the human mind. The final irony after the snap, Thanos retires. No throne, no army, no pleasure, just silence, because his goal was never power, it was peace. And that is the most tragic part of his story. Thanos teaches us something dangerous and valuable. Good intentions without wisdom can become tyranny. Logic without empathy becomes brutality. And saving the world without healing yourself can turn you into the very monster you feared. Thanos was not born evil. He was born right too early, ignored too long, and hardened by loss. And that is why his story will never be forgotten. Thanos believed balance must be forced. Buddha believed balance must be understood. Krishna taught balance must be performed without attachment. Stoics believed balance comes from mastery of the self. All saw the same problem. Only Thanos chose violence. Why? Because wisdom without inner healing becomes cruelty. Thanos versus Buddha, desire, is the real enemy. Buddhism begins with one truth. Life is suffering because of craving. Thanos correctly identifies suffering. He correctly sees overpopulation, hunger, and chaos. But here is where Buddha and Thanos separate forever. Thanos' belief, remove people, gives remove suffering. Buddha's teaching, remove ignorance, and craving gives suffering dissolves naturally. Buddha never tried to destroy the world. He sat under a tree and destroyed illusion. Thanos attacks the external world. Buddha dissolves the internal cause. This is the first fatal error of Thanos. He fights reality instead of awakening consciousness. Thanos vs. Bhagavad Gita, action without ego. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna faces a moral crisis, a battlefield. Loved ones on both sides. Violence with unavoidable. Krishna does not say kill without thinking, he says act without ego, act without attachment to results. Act as duty, not desire. Thanos believes he is beyond ego. But the truth is harsh. Thanos is deeply attached to being right. He must be the savior. He must be the one who decides. He must prove Titan wrong. Krishna warns us. When the ego says I am the doer, wisdom dies. Arjuna fights to restore dharma. Thanos kills to validate his logic. That is the difference between sacred action and tyranny. Thanos via Stoicism, control what you can. Stoicism teaches, you control your thoughts, not the universe. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet wrote, accept impermanence, master reactions, reduce desire, serve without domination. Thanos does the opposite. He tries to control existence itself. Stoics would say, Thanos suffers because he refuses to accept uncertainty. He cannot tolerate chaos, so he becomes chaos. This is the paradox. The more Thanos seeks order, the more disorder he creates. Utilitarianism vs. wisdom traditions. Thanos follows extreme utilitarianism, the greatest good for the greatest number. But ancient wisdom traditions ask a deeper question. Who decides what good is? Buddha, Krishna, and Stoics agree on one thing. Power without self-mastery is dangerous. Thanos has intelligence. He has discipline, he has conviction, but he lacks inner liberation. And without that, power becomes violence dressed as logic. The core psychological truth: Thanos is not evil. He is unhealed trauma given infinite power. Titan's destruction traumatized him. Rejection hardened him. Isolation convinced him he alone was right. Instead of healing pain, he built a philosophy around it. That is why he resonates with modern audiences. Because many people today feel overwhelmed by the world, angry at injustice, afraid of collapse, convinced force is the only solution. Thanos is not a villain. He is a warning. Buddha dissolves illusion. Krishna teaches detached action. Stoics master the self. Thanos dominates reality. They seek awakening, he seeks control. And that single difference separates salvation from destruction. Thanos in modern society, why his logic feels uncomfortably familiar. The climate crisis. Thanos was not wrong about the problem, let's be honest. Thanos was not imagining things. Today, we live in a world of climate change. Resource depletion, overpopulation, stress, wealth, inequality, ecological collapse. Scientists warn us. Data proves it. Nature responds. Just like Titan, modern humanity behaves exactly like Titan did. We know the danger, we debate endlessly, we delay action, and when someone speaks uncomfortable truth, we call them extreme. This is why Thanos feels believable. Because he represents the fear that slow wisdom will fail. The Thanos mindset in modern humans. Thanos mindset already exists on Earth. You can see it in harsh discipline will fix society. Fear controls people better than love. Sacrifice some lives for progress. Authoritarian control brings order. This mindset appears during crises, pandemics, wars, environmental collapse. When fear rises, compassion shrinks. Thanos is not fiction. He is a psychological response to chaos. Where modern society makes Thanos-like mistakes, Thanos believes, remove people, solve the problem. Modern systems often believe, remove the poor, silence, the weak, exploit nature, centralize power. Instead of asking, why does the system reward greed? Thanos never questions the system. He blames existence itself. This is crucial. The biggest error. Confusing control with solution. Thanos thinks control equals balance. Modern society repeats this mistake. Control consumption without changing desire. Control behavior without healing trauma. Control populations without education. Control nature without respecting it. But wisdom traditions warn us. Control without consciousness always backfires. The climate crisis is not just environmental. It is psychological and spiritual. We consume not because we need, but because we are empty. Why Buddha, Gita, and Stoics still matter today? Buddha would say, you are trying to save the world while remaining unconscious. Krishna would say, act responsibly, but without ego or domination. Stoics would say, change yourself before trying to rule others. Thanos skips the hardest work, inner transformation. He wants quick results. Modern society wants the same. The real problem Thanos never solves. Thanos removes half of life, but he never removes greed, ego, ignorance, fear, attachment, which means the same problems will return. Different faces, same suffering. This is why wisdom traditions focus on mind, not numbers. Psychological truth. Very important. People who believe force is the only solution usually carry deep fear of chaos, trauma from loss, distrust of human nature, need for control. Thanos lost his world, so he tries to control the universe. This is not evil. This is unhealed pain amplified by power. What a wise solution would look like. A solution inspired by Buddha, Gita, and Stoicism would focus on conscious consumption, education over fear, compassionate policy, inner discipline. Systems that reward restraint, not elimination. Transformation. Thanos teaches us something uncomfortable. The greatest danger to the universe is not ignorance, it is intelligence without wisdom. Not power, but power without self-awareness. Not logic, but logic divorced from compassion. The world does need balance. But balance cannot be forced from outside. It must be cultivated within. If we do not heal fear, greed, and ego, we will keep creating Thanos-like solutions and calling them necessary. The real Infinity Stone was never power, it was consciousness.